What's going on, everyone? Hawks21 here, back with another Splinterlands video. So it's been a while, but I'm back. I had a bunch of stuff going on. I'm finally over that cough. Watch me jinx it now and I start coughing during this video, but I think I can get through an entire video. Yeah, so again, apologies for stepping away for a little bit, but I am back. I've been sort of doing all of my daily quests, doing the normal things behind the scenes I used to do before I was making YouTube videos and other types of content, but yeah, so I haven't really missed a beat. I've been following along, just haven't been putting out that many videos. But here we are. So first one back, one thing I've noticed is that I've been using the Chaos Agent a ton. And so what this video is going to be is highlighting 4 battles in which I do use the Chaos Agent. And they're all lower to mid mana battles. And basically what I'm finding is it's a 1 mana card you almost have to play because it just unlocks so many possibilities for you, right? So I'm playing it at a level 8, which is what the level you see here. That's the highest for gold. So I got the extra speed, has the dodge in the phase. At bronze, you want to get it to at least level 2 to get the dodge. You know, the extra health is nice, but most monsters have to attack anyways, so it might not be that beneficial, but definitely need the dodge. You know, at gold, at least want to get the phase. I would prefer getting up here for the extra speed as well, just to make them that much more elusive. And obviously at the top level, when you get the backfire, it's, you know, amazing for a 1 mana card, because then now it has a chance to do 2 damage, you know, with the dodge, decent speed. This is before any buffs too, and then can dodge magic. But basically I'm finding that for 1 mana in any low to mid mana matches, I'm almost always tossing this card out there because it's really easy to throw into the first position or even the snipe position, the second position, and buy yourself 1 more time because it's going to dodge most likely, and then 2 more mana to put on more powerful high damage monsters, which I will show. The other place that is really powerful, which is the last 2 battles I'm going to show you, are equalizer rule sets, and I'm going to talk about the equalizer rule set a little bit when we get there. You know, but this card is amazing for equalizer. I'm not going to get into that more until we get to that point. Well, yeah, that was sort of a little intro to what we're going to see today. So let's go to the first battle. So here we go. We have, this one uses Kitty, but I promise not all of them do. We have a 24 mana, so pretty low, with the flight, and we both kind of ignored trample. You know, trample plus earthquake. I don't really go over trample in the earthquake rule sets. But anyways, so what I was thinking here was I want to keep my flyers alive for as long as possible, right? And so Chaos Agent is a perfect card to throw out there for 1 mana in the front. That's going to at least probably dodge 1 attack, right? It's going to die to the earthquake really quickly. I'm only expecting it to last a round, but maybe it can, it's, you know, I'm trying to keep my flyers alive. So if it can even dodge 1 attack here, it's done its job, right? I had like 1 little mana left over because I wanted to bring the Dragon Jumper, which, you know, I'm already bringing a Summoner that's 7, right? Then this card that's 7, that's 14 out of the 24 mana, right? So I only had 10 to work with. So I was really crunched for mana, and this is the perfect 1 mana monster just to put in front to buy myself some time and keep my flyers alive longer. And you'll see, I'm going to move this to 2 times speed. He will dodge an attack here. And his speed's getting nerfed a little bit. Yeah, speed's getting nerfed too. But there we go. Dodge that first attack. Eats another attack. Alright, and I think it dies right here. But it took their whole first round of attacks before any of my flyers could potentially even start thinking about taking damage. And that's all we needed. Because now the Dragon Jumper with the snare is going to start snaring their backline monsters. Well, this is also, I mean, not the point of this video, but the Albatross in gold, when it gets the heal, it's so great for 1 mana. A 1 mana tank healer is insane. But yeah, then we sort of coast to an easy victory here. Just on the backs of, you know, I'm able to put out really powerful monsters because my tank costs 1 mana. So yeah, we eventually whittle away here. I think it might be here with the earthquake. Oh no, it heals 1 more time. And then boom. So yeah, that's the first one. It's just That was probably like the least convincing one because it only dodged one time. But just the idea of when you're low on mana, it is the perfect card to put out there. Next, this is a great example. A lot of times, this is 13 mana, right? No heals. You're spending a ton of mana on your tank, usually. Or you're just tossing up fodder in the front and just trying to buy yourself some time. Like maybe you put these 1 mana chaos monsters with the fiends and stuff like that. The fiends weren't available here because it was odd. But this is like a souped up version of that. And you could see the difference here is, this is a insanely expensive card, right? They have a fully leveled up skeleton assassin with an alternative skin too. A level 9 here, right? Like I'm playing in diamond right now. I only have a gold level deck. But, this is a diamond level setup here. But the difference is they spend 5 mana out of the 13 on their tank. I spend 1, right? So what does that allow me to do? That allows me to put 2 backline attackers in there, Uraeus and the Pelacor Bandit. Whereas my opponent can only get 1, right? Like this person, Cursed Slimeball can't attack from the backline. Creeping Ooze can't attack from the backline. And what you're going to see is all of our damage dealers are basically going to die. But because I have an extra damage dealer, I am then able to poison the Lord Arianth before the Thorns kills Uraeus, and then the Lord Arianth just dies because of poison. If I wasn't able to get a second backline damage dealer in, and I had to put up, a 5 mana cost tank, I would have lost. But because I was confident putting up a 1 mana cost tank like the Chaos Agent, who actually does nothing in this battle, but just me being confident enough to put him here allowed me to get this setup that you'll see that works really well. Right, so he only has 1, but I have 2. And eventually he's going to kill my Pelacor Bandit. Yeah, he also gets lucky and lands all of his poisons, right? He didn't even miss a poison. But now he has no more damage to do, right? And my Pelacor Bandit dies, but I still have my Uraeus. So my Uraeus is the only thing that can attack left in this game. So as long as he poisons him in the next 3 turns, I win. And he does it on the first one. So eventually Uraeus is going to die, I believe. Yeah, he is. But it doesn't matter. We've poisoned him, so... Yeah, right here. He dies, and then poison gets him away. And the Chaos Agent's left standing, actually. Which is kind of funny. But yeah, the confidence of playing him freed up the mana for me to bring in 2 attackers. And, the Lord Arianth at that level is an insanely expensive card. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, right? And we just beat it. Okay, next we have the first equalizer rule set right here. And this is where the Chaos Agent really, really shines. A couple things about the equalizer rule set. So I'm going to use the term power here, talking about a card, and I don't mean collection power. There might be a better word for this, but in my head I've always just called it power. It's almost like how good a card is when the developers of this game are thinking about it. There's a couple things they factor in, right? If you just look over a card. They factor in its mana cost, its speed, whether it has an attack or not, its health level, and then its abilities. So it takes into account everything, and that gives it sort of like how good, like a power level. How powerful is this card? And it all works together, right? And you can see it where cards that have really big, massive attacks, right here, for example, don't have a ton of abilities, right? Or don't have a ton of health. Great example here, right? Like Dr. Blight normally has only 4 health, has a ton of abilities, but has no speed, decentish attack, not crazy, and really low health. But where it gets all of its power and its value from, it's from all of its abilities. Kind of similar situation here. The mana is lower, so the attack is more meaningful, but decent abilities. But the camouflage is pretty great. And for a 3 mana card, having these abilities, this gets its card power from the abilities. And it takes away health and speed. And you can see that with any number of monsters, right? So the Kron, for example, is really expensive mana cost because this setup is really great. right? Like Last Stand is awesome with the magic, with the self-heal. So it's a really expensive card. You know, if this card was 5 mana, it would be way more powerful than it is for 10. Here, Failed Summoner, for example, is a card I never play in Equalizer. And the reason is, it gets its quote-unquote power from its high health and low mana. Right? So for 2 mana, this guy's getting, again, it has some abilities, but for 2 mana, you're getting 9 health. Like, that's the point of the Failed Summoner. So in the Equalizer rule set, where everyone has the same amount of health, the Failed Summoner doesn't have a ton of value, right? It just has those 2 abilities. It loses its high health to low mana cost ratio, which is where it derives most of its power. The Screeching Vulture, on the other hand, is a great card to play in Equalizer because, again, it's really fast, decent attack, decent abilities that work really well with this setup, but because of that, it has low health. And like that's sort of how they balance out the power of this card. Now to the Chaos Agent. Chaos Agent's the same thing. It's really low mana, it's really fast, it has good abilities for 1 mana, so they made its health really low, right? If this card was everything the same, 1 mana and all this stuff, and it had 9 health like the Failed Summoner, this card would be one of the most insane cards in the game, right? You would play it every time. But in Equalizer rule sets, that's what you get, right? Like right now, I get 11 health for this card, where its main deficiency is its health. And you'll see in the last battle, my opponent plays a similar type of card, where in Equalizer it becomes insane because its biggest detriment is its health. But you don't need to worry about that in Equalizer. Another thing I would mention before we get started. Again, look, I don't have Kitty here. I'm using a Chaos Legion Summoner. It's that in Equalizer rule sets, I typically don't want to set the high health bar. There are a few exceptions, and one you'll see in the next battle where it sort of backfires on my opponent a little bit. But in general, we talk about that trade-off. When monsters have higher health, it's because it's trading off something else, right? So it's either trading off an attack, right? The Failed Summoner doesn't have any sort of attack, but it has a ton of high health, or it's trading off abilities, right? So part of the Kron the Undying's value is because of its 11 health. So if it's setting the standard for the Equalizer rule set of 11 health, it loses some of what makes it so great, which is that it's going to have a ton of health with the self-heal. Now everyone has 11 health. And so instead of like bringing a Kron, for example, I bring a Mitika, which has the 5 damage with the piercing, which is a great ability, and only 6 health. So part of what the Mitika gives up is its health. But instead now, I'm getting a massive boost to health. And you can see that here, right? Like I bring a bunch of low health monsters so 4, 2, 3, this is 4, I think, 4, 3, because I'm counting on my opponent playing a high health monster, or a higher than me health monster. So I'm going to get more of the benefit from it than my opponent is. It's basically just my general thought process around that. And then again here, I guess we didn't talk about this either. 27 mana. I'm able to bring a ton of power back here because my tank is 1, right? Like his tank is 0, so he's able to do the same thing. And he brings Kron. So the biggest difference is I brought a more powerful damage dealer because I wasn't worried about bringing a ton of health. He brought a card that normally has a lot of health, and that basically ends up being the difference. And the Chaos Agent's going to dodge a ton, which you'll see. All right, I've talked for too much. Let's get into it. But I loved this battle, and this is the battle that sort of spurred me to do the video. So here we go. I blinded them too, right? And you're going to see a ton of dodges. Miss, miss. 3. I'll count them. 4, 5. I've already got rid of 2 of their monsters. They've missed 5 times. At this point I know that I've won. But I just want to prove the point. Oh, there you go. They hit 2 in a row. 6, 7, 8. And yeah, they have a Kron Last Stand, which is obviously normally scary, 9. But I'm going to have all of my monsters up, except the Chaos Agent, I think, dies. 10. 10 misses. For a 1 mana cost card, 10 misses. Finally, it dies. But it's just too late. So yeah. Double-digit misses from a 1 mana cost card. In Equalizer, you have to play the Chaos Agent when it's low to mid mana. Okay, last one. Here's you see a similar thing, 23 mana, so it's low. I don't even think the Chaos Agent dodges one here. Basically, what I want to show is my confidence in playing a tank like this allows me to allocate, a 7 mana cost card here, which is really powerful. And it's going to do a ton of damage to help me win. This is the example where this is another card that, you've seen the Exploding Dwarf and the Exploding Rats now. It's really powerful, really fast, has decent abilities for a lowish mana cost, and its one detriment is its health, right? Like, you don't play this in every single rule set because, if it hits anyone with thorns or if your opponent has an opportunity monster, it's immediately dead. So this is the perfect rule set to play it, but my opponent, did something similar that I normally do. So like here, I actually think I set the standard, with the 6. So I do set the 6 standard. But this might be a case where if I have the Exploding Dwarf, I don't have the Exploding Dwarf. I don't play the Exploding Rats that much. So actually, I haven't experimented with this at all. But this might be a case where I would want to set the standard. And by setting the standard, I mean I would bring like the Alamo Cambio, which is 15, and just give my Exploding Dwarf like so much health. That's really hard to do in a 23 mana game. The Alamo 7. But yeah, I just have enough damage to overwhelm him here. I just wanted to show you that I'm always going to play the Chaos Agent in Equalizer. I don't even think the Chaos Agent dodges or does anything in this one. He dies immediately. But it just allows me to, bring the Axe Master, who it actually works out perfectly. His 6 health ends up being the exact amount needed to clear any of these other 6 health monsters, because that's where the Equalizer set is. They do have a weaken. 2 weakens, actually, because their Summoner has a weaken and Dr. Blight. But the Axe Master is the one who makes the big difference here. Bang. So I got lucky he didn't land a poison there, right? If he landed a poison there, I was probably in trouble. But my Axe Master gets to go again, which that gives my Dr. Blight a health advantage, which is all I need. Boom. So again, 1 mana cost tank in Equalizer frees up a ton of mana for me to bring a lot of damage. So kind of like 2 topics covered in this video. 1 is Chaos Agent and 2 is some Equalizer strategy. I'm going to leave it there. Maintenance is coming soon, so I'm glad I got this video in before that hit. I'm good to be back. You can expect a more regular release of videos now. I really appreciate the early support. I think we crossed 700 subscribers during my little absence, so the subscriber count kept climbing, and you're going to continue to see more and more stuff from me. So I really appreciate you guys being here. If you like this video, it would be awesome if you could like and subscribe. I hope you guys have a fantastic day.